We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. 5:02. Currently in attendance, Amanda Bazinski and Cindy Hodek are remote. Myself,
Aaron Strobel and
Heather McCann are in person, excuse me. And Dustin, thank you for being here as well. Okay, we will move into the secretary's report from our last meeting.
Okay, hold on.
Whenever you're ready.
Yep, sure. Okay, good, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. So secretary's report, just a couple of highlights. Aaron's gonna follow up with Jake and Tom on the playground committee. The field trips for the first semester for elementary, 4K trip discussion to make sure that that is earmarked for 2021. The Scholastic book proposal was approved and snacks were approved for all elementary schools but delivered to West and North. The end.
Yep, all right, I make a motion to approve the secretary's report.
I second it.
All right, any opposed? Okay, that motion will pass. Moving on to the treasurer's report.
Okay, so for the elementary level account, there was a $98.22 removal, and that was for snacks for West and North. East elected not to receive funds this time, leaves $10,168.85, and the middle school is no changes at $1949.98.
What was the reason that East didn't need the snacks?
So I know that Tom had said that he did not necessarily need them, and then when I requested from all three schools, Tom did not respond, so his $50 is still sitting out there.
Okay, I didn't know if he just had extras left over, or if there wasn't a need for it right now, so. Okay.
I'm not sure if he had donations earlier, and that's why they don't need them, but
Okay.
it'll still be there.
What did you say the total was for elementary, Amanda? The balance?
16885.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, also, side note for the treasurer's report, the 990 has been filed for taxes.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the treasurer's report if there are no questions.
I'll second that.
Any opposed? Okay, the treasurer's report passes. Moving on to the old business for the 4K through 3. The playground initiative, we've been working on trying to get a meeting set up with Jake Leiterman and Tom and us. So we have narrowed down a date, I think that might work for us.
You mean the one that happened today?
The 3rd, I thought that was the 5th of November.
It is the 5th of November. It is the 5th of November, Jordan.
I'm so
That's
confused.
15 today.
I'm sorry, go ahead and I'll let Aaron brief about that then.
Yeah, so there was a meeting, we had agreed for 3:15 today. However, it was only Tom and I. Jake was not in attendance. So Tom and I still met though. We have a list of questions that we're gonna follow up with Jake just to make sure that he still has he had a chance to do the playground assessment or not at each of the schools? If he hasn't, we have some ideas of what we're looking for in terms of like a summary and some pictures and that type of thing. We've talked about maybe it would be nice to go and visit some of the other surrounding districts and playgrounds to try and start getting an idea of what we want. And I'm going to put together a little pamphlet for trying to recruit some core committee members is what we're calling them. Tom had someone that he was going to reach out to and see if that individual had any people that they could recommend that would be able to help. Just kind of get the committee started and what we're doing, what we want to do. There is also a CISA 9 grant writer that he knows that's based out of Rhinelander. So he's going to check with her and see if they would be willing to help us write when we start getting to the point of researching and filling out grants, that they would be able to help us with that.
Erin, can you spell that? The grant writer?
Oh, it's just the CESA 9, so the CESA 9, whatever that stands for. I don't know. Heather, do you know?
Not off the top of my head, I don't remember.
No.
That's fine. Got
CESA
it.
9.
It's a support for our district, CESA 9
Yeah.
district, so.
Right.
That's a good idea.
And then we are talking about, so once we get the pamphlets out there, we're thinking of maybe posting it on Dojo, maybe Heather, maybe we can post it on the district Facebook page and stuff like that. Just if anybody's got any interest in joining that. And then we're thinking of setting a monthly meeting, probably the same day as our CHAMPS meetings, just a little bit earlier. That way we can get all the meetings done in one day. And then actually kick off that committee and do that type of thing. So, yeah, I can bring that up. So as kind of a sidebar, but I'll bring it up as part of this playground thing. So we had talked last year about the Cartridges for Kids e-recycling program. Basically, we collect old ink cartridges, old cell phones, Kindles, iPads, whatever, old electronics, okay? There's a recycling program that's called Cartridges for Kids that we can send in and they pay us for it. We had talked about doing that last year, and I got a text message from the lady that used to do it at Crestwood a couple years ago and said that she had 3 boxes of cartridges for me to pick up from her house. So they're currently sitting in my basement, waiting for me to figure out how to send them out. And so I was researching that the other day. It says that they increased their price lists and that type of thing. So one of my questions is I'm fine doing that, and then we had talked even last year, we were interested in doing that and being able to recycle those things and get paid for it. She gets them from like the police department and some other places, so we can reach out to other area businesses. But one of the questions was, once we do this, what are we gonna do with the funds? Do we want to do like what we do with box tops and we have them go to each of the schools? Or do we possibly use this e-recycling as a kickoff and start to our playground initiative fundraising? So, any thoughts on the e-recycling? I see we have a lot of people that joined. Hello, everybody.
Sorry for our late entry. We were in the original link in the calendar invite.
Oh, no
Oh,
problem.
no.
Thanks for making it over.
Okay, so just to recap for everybody that just joined, we were just talking about the playground initiative. We had a quick meeting today with me and Tom. The other people weren't able to join, so we have a list of action items. And we're going to start putting some feelers out for committee members. If there's anybody that's interested in being a core committee member, or if you know of anybody that's done this type of thing. April, I'm gonna try and find your emails that you sent me last year when we had talked about the playground initiative fundraising. So I'm gonna dig out those emails, but if I can't find them, I'll be contacting you. And then we were just talking about the Cartridges for Kids e-recycling program. That was an initiative we had talked about last year, but I have 3 big boxes of things that need to be recycled in my basement that I got from one of the other parents that used to send it out for Crestwood. And if we want to use that for jump-starting our playground initiative fundraising, or if we want to donate, use those funds and push them back to the elementary and middle schools, or what do we want to do with that? Does anybody have any ideas?
Maybe for this meeting, we could just have that in everybody's minds, and then we can turn those in, find out what kind of revenue we get from those, and then decide and take a vote after that and figure out where we're gonna put those funds.
Well, as I set up that account though, they're gonna wanna know who to issue the funds to. So that's why I was bringing it up. Or maybe I can find out some more. I'm waiting for the rep to contact me. I filled out the email the other day for the request form, and they're supposed to be getting a hold of me so I can find out more from them before I get ready to send them out and do all that and see what they can tell me. And see if we can do it where, if we would want to do it for, you know, like the fundraising thing, we have to have an account set up and all that stuff before they can even issue the funds. Or if we're going to do it for the elementary schools, then I have to see if I can be the coordinator for all of them and how we keep them straight. So,
Well, why don't we, for right now, why don't we look into that, and then we'll talk to, I know we still need to talk to Tim Prunty about a separate account for the playground thing, I know that was
Yep.
mentioned, so we'll get a little more information, and then make a decision on if that's what we're gonna do with those funds, moving on after that.
okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for next month then. And
I would imagine by then we could probably
yeah,
take a
we
vote.
should, yeah, we should have a lot of information by then, so. Okay, but just for feelers, if anybody's got anybody that knows or that has been involved in playground initiatives and fundraising and coordinating that, let us know. So,
Okay. Any questions on the playground initiative, anything we missed?
I
Okay.
just wanted to clarify that this maybe is for the 4K.
4K3,
Yes, that's for the elementaries, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, 4K3 playground initiative.
Yeah, from when we talk about the playground initiative, now on, we're kind of focusing on the 4K through 3 and then middle school later on as needed. So, just to clarify that. Moving on to the box tops program.
Okay, box tops. I got box tops from all 3 of the elementary schools, and their deadline to send them out was this last Monday. So I am now the coordinator for West as well. So all 3 of them are going through me. I sent out all 3 schools. Because the clippable box tops are being phased out, there wasn't a whole lot, so I think West, there was like $23. North, I think, had like $15, and East had like $13. So, but I've started drafting up some pamphlets or PDFs that we can put on Dojo and send out to the parents to remind people that we're doing the box tops even online. So you can download the app and submit your receipts and get your box tops money that way. So I'm putting that together currently.
So moving forward, you are the point of contact for all box tops?
All box tops come through me. Yeah. And I believe each of the schools still have their containers to put them in and stuff like that. So it worked really well I see we have all the principals on, so you can tell your secretaries thank you for sending them over to Jennifer, because then she sent them home with my daughter. So it was easy, super easy for me.
Great, so thank you for doing that. Moving on to the binder updates. Who is that for? Or is that just left on there from last time?
I have no idea.
Amanda, do you have anything on the binders to talk about?
No, I don't have anything. I feel like you're looking at a outdated agenda.
I possibly had a copy of an unfinished one. So if we don't have anything for the binders, we can skip that and move on.
Does each school have theirs? Because I thought that we got it done, and then we sent it out.
I
So,
thought, yeah.
Donna, you guys, everybody has a binder? So there's a Google Drive and there's a physical binder of the different documents, and they were updated.
That was probably left on there, yeah. Okay. So all the schools have their binders. Moving on to the new business.
Are those the
I
right
think
new
those
business?
are, yeah, I think those are all the same ones from last time.
Okay, so for the new business, Donna had reached out about getting an agenda item for caregiver conferences. Is that right, Donna?
Yeah, so Tom, Rachel, and I spoke in the past. CHAMPS had provided lights, refreshments for our staff, and so just thought it would be another great thing if CHAMPS could also help with that again. It was well received and much appreciated, and I guess now more so than ever. Our conferences are all remote. However, our elementary conferences are Thursday, this next Thursday at 12 from 3:30 to 6:30, and then Friday, the 13th from 8 till 11.
So do we have a
So-
total? Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Jordan.
No, you go ahead.
So do we have a specific ask, like regarding COVID and like individually packaged items? Like, what are the, I guess, rules around the snacks that we as CHAMPS would be providing?
Individually
Want
packed.
to-
Is there like a reference somewhere that we can reference to find out what we can bring in, or is it just kind of like common sense individual items?
Well, we've been doing it the middle and the high school when there's been something brought in. We've just been having it individually packed, be it soup or salads or if it's whatever. I don't know, Donna, what were you guys thinking?
Yeah, I think last year, I think they provided a sandwich. I think that you guys got sandwiches from somewhere and they were already pre-made. So anything that's like wrapped up, just like Heather said, and I guess maybe a small bag of chips or something, but nothing that staff has to like scoop in and like that.
Okay, so the sandwiches that we did last year, we got the mega boss subs from Pick and Save.
Yeah,
And cut them into, I think, quarters because the sub is ridiculously large. And then I think we did do prepackaged chips, so if that works again, I, as Amanda, am not opposed to that.
Yeah, if you guys think that'll work for you again, you know, the quarter sandwiches though, they're not wrapped up though, are they?
Maybe you could ask them.
Or maybe they could wrap up?
Yes, they were wrapped up, Erin.
Oh, they were,
So
okay.
last year when I contacted them, typically it's just one big sub, but I had them actually slice them in quarters and pre-package them.
Oh, gotcha, okay, perfect.
So we just need a number, and then we can take a vote to see if we can support that.
Well, we need these for next week, right? Yeah, next Thursday. So
Another place for subs, we have gotten them through Walmart for our PTO meetings at West when Cindy Hodek and I were there. And they will cut them into any size you want and they're very reasonable. But just another thought.
Thanks, Sarah.
This is for next week. This is
the
start.
parent-teacher conferences are next Thursday and Friday.
So do we have an estimate of how many staff at each school so we can kind of put an estimated proposal together right now?
Amanda, do you
I
know
was
how much
thinking-
it cost last year to do it?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
I can pull it up. Hold on, please.
Sorry.
Why don't,
I think
so
that
while
would be
I'm
the
looking
easiest.
for that, you guys want to move on to so the next thing I have on the agenda is the Scholastic book proposal from the middle school.
Okay,
Yep,
so
we can turn that over. You wanted to talk about that, or do you want us just to?
Sure. So at the last meeting, elementary had this great idea to get some books and use some money towards students to purchase books through Scholastic. And so I just took their proposal and copied it. And we're hoping to do the same thing, except we wouldn't do it, we don't have enough money, I don't think, in our account to do it 2 times a year. We are requesting 1 time, so it'd be $3 per student, approximately 500 students for $1,500. And then I talked to Jamie Kirsch today, and Cindy, we have another family engagement activity coming up in December, so we might be using some money to purchase some books that way. So at my request, I said that we'd want it by December. I'd like to change that and just say, I'm asking the request for the $1,500, but then to use it possibly January or February.
And the 500 students, is that for all 4 grades?
All 4 grades in person and remote,
Okay.
whatever that includes. So I actually put it up, it's about probably $495, but I rounded it to 500 because there's always flexing in and out.
Okay, well, I have the funding request form here, so we can vote on this now, I would imagine, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, just a quick overview of when we do a vote for funding and anything like that. Everybody's vote counts, and since we're doing it remotely now, what I'm going to do is if there's anybody that disagrees with the vote, go ahead and identify yourself when I ask. And if you don't identify yourself as disagreeing, we're going to assume that you are voting for the motion. So if there's any questions with that, speak up now, otherwise we'll go ahead and vote on approving the funds for the Scholastic books for the middle school. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to approve $1,500 worth of CHAMPS funds for the middle school grades 4 through 7 to buy Scholastic books of high interest to the students for just one time this year. Is that correct, Heather?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anybody that opposes this motion? So I'm assuming all is in favor, so the motion will pass unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Heather, we'll just get with you on the side then whenever we need to.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So that should be the last piece of business.
Are there any other items that anybody else wants to bring up for either 4K3 or 4-7? We got 5 minutes left, and Amanda, once you find that stuff from the sandwiches, let us know.
While she's looking for that, so what do the numbers of the staff look like at the schools right now? Just a quick estimate.
So on a side note, I'm working on an ulterior computer that does not have any of my like actual reports or anything on it. So before you get the communication from everybody, honestly, if I get the total from last year in the old minutes or from the report from last year, I would make a motion that we spend the same amount of money or have the same restrictions or regulations.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
So we'll make a motion to supply light food and drink for the caregiver conferences is this at all schools, including middle school?
Not the middle school.
So at the
Yep.
3 elementary schools?
Did all 3 elementary schools want it? Or was East not, all 3?
All
Okay.
3, yep. So at all 3 elementary schools, and we will find out the funding and make it comparable to what we spent last year. So I'll make that motion
Yeah.
now.
The other thing, Jordan, to add into that motion is if every principal could just send me your estimated number of people, because I can do the price checking at Walmart and pick and save like we did last year and see which one is cheaper, and then go that route. But that way they break the boxes down into how many people are in your school, so we're not double handling materials.
Absolutely, that sounds good.
Amanda, do you want us to just give it to you now?
Yes, Donna, that would be awesome.
Okay, I have 25 teachers,
Okay.
including the specials that could be at, we're not sure where, you know, so that's the hard thing.
Rachel, what do you think
Thank
your
you,
numbers look
virtual.
like?
I don't know, I always just have the number 28, but that's all my staff, so I have to recalculate in my head right now.
So it would be at most 28, that's
Go
good.
with 20.
I think 20, to most same as Donna, I guess, would be a little less, but.
Somebody will eat your leftovers.
And
Great.
Tom, what do you have at your school right now?
If it's just for teacher conferences, I'm gonna go with 20.
Okay.
All right.
I would say 20 for me too, because Tom and I are the same size.
All
I
right.
feel like that sounds pretty familiar from last year. I almost feel like it was 19, 18, and 22, but
Well, we can work on those numbers and we'll get the most reasonable pricing we can. So we'll go ahead and make a motion right now to support the caregiver conferences with small food and drink for the staff members at the 3 elementary schools. Is there anybody that is opposed to that motion?
For both days, right, Jordan? We're supporting both days?
I would just ask for the one. I mean, I guess, Rachel, we didn't talk about that regarding the Friday, but if you can do the Thursday, that would be appreciated.
Does that sound good with you, Tom?
Yeah, Thursday's good.
Okay, so just Thursday.
All right,
So
so,
just one, Amanda.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
all right, so no opposition? Okay, the motion will pass unanimously then, and we will work to get that done.
So for next Thursday, right, 3:30? I believe
Yes,
the
thank
email.
you.
Okay,
So the 12th.
yes, next, yep.
All right. Well, that concludes the CHAMPS agenda for today. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 3rd. I want to thank everybody for attending, and we're going to turn over the floor to the Title I group to have a presentation during our district time. So I will officially adjourn the CHAMPS meeting at 5:30.